Here's a group of Lego soldiers. Boom, I turned them into cursed creations. In this video, you're going to see the craziest, wackiest, and most twisted medieval Lego models ever. Let's get started. Egghead. And he uses his head as a shield. His head is as bouncy as a ball. Double trouble. Now this is double protection. One handles the shield, while the other swings the axe. The Orc. But how can he serve in the Royal Guard? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Spiky. He's covered in spikes, so balloon animals better watch out around him. Archer with a nose arrow and twisted arms, so there's no chance he'll hit any targets. And finally, Bob. The best shield is his own skin. Ooh, check out those details. My Batlord's catapult, but we need to improve it a bit. As the name suggests, it's the Bat's catapult, so we have to modify the minifigures. Let's swap the heads. The horse's head will replace the minifigures, and the minifigure's head will go on the horse. I mean, why not? The horse will get a helmet on its head, but the minifigure won't. So, who's the real driver here? Feeling bald now, little guy? A catapult full of heads? Yes, heads, because minifigure heads make perfect projectiles. We still need to do something with the Batlord. I'll remove his head and replace it with a bat's head. Add some color to his hands, and it's done. So how do you like this cursed cart? After all, it's the Bat's catapult. Let us know your thoughts while we continue with the modifications. The next model is the Black Knight's treasure. Let's start the modifications. Let's see what happens if we swap the horse and the wheel. So, I placed 2 horses on the sides of the wagon and a large wheel at the front. It looks interesting. Now the wagon has a 2-horse-powered rear-wheel drive. Do they make cars with rear-wheel drive? The treasure, what's inside? Of course, Lego minifigure heads. Let's close this precious chest. Time to modify the driver. Let's add an interesting piece of clothing. Now I'll create an intriguing head. I'll use a handle part for this. And finally, 2 small wheels as eyes. Done? What do you think of this wagon? Bull's attack wagon. First, let's add some speed. For this, I'll duplicate the horse's legs. The more legs, the faster it runs. With 10 limbs at the front and 10 at the back, that's a total of 20 hooves ready to propel the wagon at a speed of 5 horses. You can calculate it yourselves in the comments. Don't forget to consider the Coriolis effect and gravity. The driver. Let's make him an arm that looks like a sword. We'll double the head, but give it 3 eyes. By the way, I wonder why he has gray eyes. I'll make him long fingers to scratch the horse. No need for a whip or carrot anymore. Just a scratch behind the ear, and the horse will move. Wings will be useful for the wagon. I'll replace the wheels with legs, so the wagon now has 22 driving limbs in total. The companion at the back will get a longer neck to see what's happening ahead. Hopefully his helmet won't fall off at such speeds. Another cursed modification is ready. 4 castle figures. We'll transform them into cursed weapons. Let's begin. The first one will be turned into a shield. Yes, this buddy will take on the full force of the enemy attack, protecting his friends in the process. Defensive stance ready. The next one will be transformed into a giant bow, but where will he store his arrows? The third one will become a sword. The torso is shaped like a blade. I'll attach arms, and of course, he needs to have 2 swords. The last one is a typical guard with a spear, so he'll be shaped like one. I'll even double his head. A double-headed guard means double the protection. Okay, which of these knights do you like? Write in the comments which one is the most cursed. The next model is the castle guard, meaning the guard and his companion on the horse. Let's start with the guard. We'll transform him into a 2-headed horse. First, I duplicate the legs to make sure there are 4 hooves. The belly needs to be lengthened to the appropriate size. We'll move the arms closer to the trousers. Now, I'll add a horse's head. As I mentioned before, I'll double it. Finally, the helmets and the weapon held in the mouth. It looks great. Now for the companion on the horse. First, we'll mix the figure and the horse. A large bald head and the horse's yellow coat. The rider will get a head shaped like a flag, and look how nicely it waves in the wind. Done. What do you think about turning a figure into a horse and a horse into a figure? Let me know in the comments. What a magnificent honorable duel. Let's turn it into a cursed duel. First, I'll remove their swords. I twist and extend their arms. Yes, they'll fight with their elongated limbs. I'll shrink the green one's head and attach a funny red feather. For the other, I'll make an extension sticking out of his helmet. I'll also shrink their second arm to maintain character balance. And to make it even more cursed, let's have them jump on one leg. It'll be funnier. This is a duel worthy of masters. Now let's focus on the audience. I'll flatten one character's head. It'll look like it's made of paper. This one is a peasant. We'll make it seem like he just came back from work. But what kind of work? Let those brown little balls give you a hint. And no, it's not a chocolate factory. The next one, I'll give him a long neck to observe from above. He's the duel referee. For the last one, I'll lengthen the arrow. It'll be the longest arrow in history. I'll also change his head and add little black eyes. The duelists and the audience are ready. What do you think? For me, it's perfect. 6 knights, time for some cursed modifications. The archer will get multiple pairs of eyes. Now he'll aim better. I'll remove his arms and instead give him 2 bows. But how will he draw the bowstring? Next, I'll modify the following one's head to have a crest on his face, a true patriot. The next one will have his head enlarged and extended. A bigger head means a higher demand for resources for the helmet, so he'll only get a small shield and weapon. No wasting steel here. The next will have a head shaped like an axe. I'll even add little black eyes. Another will have one eye, but it'll be very powerful, and I'll give him 6 pairs of arms like a spider. The last one will have realistic eyes, and instead of arms, he'll have spears. I'll also add tiny legs. What do you think of this cursed group of soldiers? Let me know in the comments. And here's the model of a large catapult, but I'll turn it into a giant minifigure catapult. Time to start mixing. First, I place a torso with a head on the catapult, scaling it up appropriately. Then I change the color to a bluish tone. One buddy will lose his head. He'll be the projectile for the catapult. Since this is a minifigure catapult, it must have minifigure legs. I'll lengthen the nose because it will serve as the sight. Yes, he'll aim with his nose. Finally, I'll extend the arms so he can load the projectiles into the shooting chamber himself. Done. A beautiful catapult ready for action. The Knight of the Bull crest, or rather the Bullish Marauder. Let's start the transformation into a bull. First, I'll add horns, one on the right and of course one on the left. The bull on the crest has red eyes, so I'll give this character the same fiery red eye. I'll add a nose ring, though I'm not sure the proper term for it. If anyone knows, feel free to share it in the comments. Next, I'll add a tail. I'll change the stone launcher into a massive crossbow. The projectile will be a minifigure's head with an exceptionally long neck. Ready to fire. Another modification completed. I hope you all enjoy this one. The model is the battering ram, but we're going to create a living battering ram. First, I'll duplicate the minifigures so that there are 4 versions of him lined up neatly in a row, just as they should be when holding a battering ram. I'll take a 5th one. He will act as the battering ram itself. First, I'll extend his belly to give him some weight. Now, I'll take the head and add a very long neck. Perfect. Our living battering ram is ready. Now let's move on to Night Bob. I'll make his torso smaller. You'll see how interesting he looks with a shrunken torso. And how do you like this soldier with a smaller chest? Now for a change, let's make one with a larger torso. For the next one, I'll enlarge his head. I start by making specific markings to better pull the head out. Oh, and finally, let's add the helmet. This knight looks very interesting too. He can observe the battlefield from afar. For the next figure, I'll remove the torso and instead stretch out the neck. The neck will serve as the body. Finally, I'll arrange the arms. This knight model is also quite intriguing and worthy of attention. What do you think? Black Knight's boat, but we'll modify it. We're going to give it a motor-powered drive. First, I'll take a minifigure and replace his arms with oars. He'll come in handy. He'll be the rowing man. Full steam ahead. Alright, I'm not a fan of the dragon's head at the front. Let's swap it out for a minifigure's head. Now we have a beautiful and modern figure at the bow of the boat. But what if our rower gets tired? We'll set up a sail, made out of another minifigure, of course. And there we have it, another cursed model. This time, it's a modified ship. What do you think? How do you like it? Black Knight's guard shack, featuring a guard on the tower alongside a ghost. Alright, let's begin the modification. First, the guard. I'll give him long legs, as tall as his guard tower. This way, he won't need stairs or a ladder anymore. Perfect. Long legs just like a model. I'll also lengthen his equipment, meaning his weapon. Next, I'll create long, thin arms. I'm doing this digitally, but if you're working in real life, you can use modeling clay or wire to achieve this effect. Both arms must be elongated properly. This figure wouldn't be 100% cursed if I didn't stretch out his neck as well. Now, he looks like overcooked spaghetti, stretching out like cheese on pizza. As for the ghost, I don't have a specific idea for him, so I'll just paint him yellow. What do you think of this model, especially the guard? It's very strange, isn't it? A catapult and 2 soldiers. I have an idea. Let's turn one of them into a living catapult. First, I'll give him a massive launching arm instead of his small, frail hand. I just need to figure out a hinge mechanism to attach this catapult arm to his torso. Alright, now we need a target. Let's make it his friend, Bob. Hey Bob, can you handle the catapult fire? I'm loading the catapult. And of course, it's going to be a head as the ammunition. All set and ready to launch. Fire! And there we have the result of the shot. As I expected, poor Bob has shattered into pieces. No one can escape from the minifigure catapult. But Bob isn't giving up so easily. He's building a palisade out of spears. Impressive. Well done, Bob. You've managed to protect yourself from the catapult's barrage. 100% effective defense. Bonus. What if we load 2 heads onto the catapult? 3, 2, 1, launch. And there's the outcome. It turns out that 2 projectiles have more power than 1. Poor Bob lost this time. Make sure to click like under the video. It'll make Bob happy. What do you think of these models? Make sure to click like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.